when I was going through my residency in family medicine, I was pregnant with my first child. And one night morning, I was driving home after a full night of being awake, and I almost veered off the highway, and someone had to honk from the back to wake me up. And it was literally a wake-up call for me.
Wow.
And I really started paying attention to sleep and prioritizing it. Even if I had been up all night in residency, I would take like a power nap before I got into the car. And then when I actually had my baby that year, I went into sort of a health crisis. I was rushed into an emergency C-section and just thought I wouldn't make it because even as a doctor, they never prepare you to be a patient.
Right.
And we made it through all that, my baby and me, but then something started happening with my health, and I had an upset tummy every day. I had fatigue, I had lack of sleep, my hair was falling, I had no sex drive. I started gaining all this weight, and I went to see my doctor and didn't get the answers I was looking for. And that's what really changed my path and my trajectory and how I was going to help my patients recover from all the symptoms that I was suffering with.
Interesting.
And that's when I found my path, because I found I had gut infections, I had autoimmunity, I had Hashimoto's, IBS, food sensitivities. And when I was able to really dive into those root causes, do the proper testing, get a mentor for my health, and really learn how to help others, which they did not teach me, by the way, in med school. I was able to not only transform my life, but those who I help. And this became a mission and a passion to really help people restore their health, their sleep, their energy, their mood, and by balancing their gut, their hormones, and mind-body balance. So I now have a Mandala approach to help them through these struggles.
You seem to me to be part of this army of, I wouldn't call them renegade physicians or renegade doctors, but it seems like, you know, there's this army of classically trained doctors in Western medicine that, and some percentage of them at some point experience what you've experienced or have something happen, and they start asking, is there anything else? Like, this is not dealing with the root cause. So I love that it seems like more and more doctors are either opting out of the traditional way of doing it in terms of Western medicine, or they're asking questions like, we're not solving this, we're not getting to the root cause of this stuff.
Exactly.
So I love
because
that.
there's always a role to be played by conventional medicine. It's life-saving, but when it comes to chronic pain and chronic illness, maybe that isn't the only way out. It should be the last resort. When we're dealing with anything like chronic disease and illness and pain, you really have to look at lifestyle first.
I know that one of the topics you are passionate about is sleep.
Yes.
And I'm curious to understand from your perspective, how does sleep relate to chronic pain, chronic inflammation? Like, what's the connection with sleep and having pain and suffering and chronic inflammation?
So this is a two-way connection. Pain itself can interfere with sleep, and then lack of sleep itself can lead to chronic pain.
So it's this virtuous cycle of like pain, no sleep, worse pain. Worse pain, less sleep. It's this downward cycle.
And it's all linked to our neurobiology and the connection between our hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis, which is our stress and hormone connection, our immune connection, which is gut-related, and then the brain connection, which are all our endocannabinoid system, our opioid system, our serotonin system. So all these mood enhancers and our natural pain suppressors literally get unsuppressed and manifest as more sensitivity to pain. And lack of sleep potentiates all of these and can worsen just the perception of pain. So normally, if we were sleeping with deep REM sleep as well as deep non-REM sleep, our whole perception of pain itself would be naturally suppressed with these
Interesting.
internal mechanisms. And when we lack sleep, then these mechanisms sort of get overexpressed, and we can then that can result in a chronic cycle of pain, lack of sleep, inflammation, which are really all interconnected.
Why can't we sleep? What is the problem with sleeping? Why can't most people just, turn the lights off, lie in your bed, go to sleep? Is it stress? Is it technology? It's because we have our phone sitting next to us. Like, why do people have such a hard time sleeping?
So it's all of those reasons compared to our ancestors who really kind of followed their circadian rhythm, their inner clocks with night and day and light and darkness. What we have in today's world is 24/7. At the flick of a switch, you have lighting, you
Right.
have 24-hour open drive-through food places, supermarkets, hospitals, ERs. And as we know from studies that those who work night shifts have some of the worst sleep patterns.
Interesting.
And it can really impact your cortisol, your immune system, your hormones, and therefore impact your sleep. We are living in a more toxic world, so EMFs from devices, from phones, from what's called dirty electricity, all can impact our inner clock, which, your pineal gland, which is your third eye, is so interconnected with light exposure versus dark exposure, your internal melatonin and serotonin production, but also your sleep itself and the hormones that help you fall asleep as well as stay asleep. So all those rhythms are disrupted when we are exposed to difference in with devices, with
Sure.
light exposure, with toxins, with stress.
Yeah.
And we're such an on society now. We can't turn off those pings and messages and emails, and we just have a lot going on, and we're multitasking, we have work to do, and it's easy to push sleep to
Sure.
the back burner.
Yeah.
And really, sleep is a vital sign. If we were to realize that, and if we were to prioritize our bedtime routine and our sleep time,
Yeah.
the world would be a happier place.
100%.